Hello everyone, happy World Book Day. I'm Mr. Addison and today I will be reading The Phoenix of Persia with you. I'm also going to be joined by one of my pals. As this is about a bird, we've also got Rio here, my Quaker Parrot. He's going to join it. He might hang around or he might go elsewhere, but he's going to stick around and listen to the story as well. So, before we begin as well, this book does also contain a QR code for you to listen to a soundtrack as you listen to this story. So maybe you like to listen to this whilst I'm reading it on another device, or maybe you like to listen to it afterwards to see what the sounds of Iran are like, because this story is from a place in Asia called Iran. So let's begin. The Phoenix of Persia. The children raced into Dineshu Park. Carpets were spread on the ground, lights twinkled in the trees, and there were stalls heaped with freshly picked fruit and nuts. Ali pulled coins from his pocket and brought a tray of sweet, ripe mulberries. Shirin grabbed her brother's hand. "Let's sit at the front." They wound their way through the crowd as musicians tuned their instruments and the storyteller tested her microphone. "Oh, what story are they going to tell?" asked Shirin, licking purple mulberry juice from her fingers. "Oh, it's going to be epic," said Ali. "Magic mixed with history. It's about an ancient Persian king who..." The sound of drums echoed across the square. "Shh, it's starting," whispered Shirin. The storyteller began to speak. Once upon a time, Yekibud, Yekiamud, far from the humans and near the sun, there was a mountain made of jewels. It crunched and sparkled. The mountain of gems. At the top of the mountain was a spreading tree. Seeds hung from its branches, waiting to be born. The tree of all seeds. At the top of the tree was a giant nest. Sitting in the nest was a bird with curving beak and trailing tail. Her feathers flashed scarlet, ruby, purple, gold. She was the size of 30 birds and shone like 100 suns. The Simorgh. The bird flapped her wings and the tree shook. Seeds blew, seeds flew, seeds scattered across earth. Life came into being. The Simorgh had a secret. She was a firebird. Her feathers had magic powers. They could grant wishes and make dreams come true. Every 1,000 years, the Simorgh flapped her wings and set fire to her nest. Flames flickered, and out of the raging fire hopped a new Simorgh, born from the ashes. The Simorgh swooped over the mountain of gems. She had seen worlds created, worlds destroyed, and it had made her wise. The Phoenix of Persia. Ancient Persia was ruled by King Sam and Queen Aram. Their palace was magnificent. It had bronze gates and golden pillars, halls carved of stone, shady gardens and cooling fountains. The king and queen had everything, except a child. They longed for a baby, but weeks, months, years passed, and no child came. Then, at last, Queen Aram held a bundle wrapped in a blanket. "We have a baby boy," she cried. King Sam was filled with joy. "I name our son Zal, Prince Zal, a prince for the throne of Persia." The king pulled back the blanket to kiss his newborn baby. The baby was beautiful, with black eyes and rosy cheeks, but his hair was as white as snow. "This is not the hair of a baby," said King Sam. "This is the hair of an old man." Queen Aram stroked the baby's head. "We've been blessed with a son." "I want a perfect prince," snapped the king, "with black hair, like my own." "You love a snowy day," reminded the queen. "Clean sheets, a fluffy white goose feather." King Sam's joy turned to sorrow. "This baby looks like a ghost or a demon! This is no child of mine!" The Queen hugged Zal tight, but the King cried, "This boy will bring the kingdom doom! He must go!" The King called a soldier and commanded, "Get this monster out of here! Take him to the mountains and leave him!" The Queen wept, but the soldier carried Prince Zal away. The soldier rode with the baby out of the kingdom, through the forest to distant mountains. With heavy hearts, the soldier placed Prince Zal on cold, hard rocks. How could a baby survive in the wilderness? The soldier shook his head and rode away. Dusty wind blew, a leopard prowled, and a wolf howled. Zal began to cry. He was hungry, and his sobs echoed across the mountain. Then there was a flash of red, of gold, and the fluttering of wings. The Simurgh flew overhead, seeking for food for her chicks. She heard crying and swooped down. "Poor creature, there is always room for one more." She clasped the baby in her claws. "I'll take care of you." And she soared into the sky. The Simurgh carried Zal over sparkling jewels to the mountain of gems, up to the tree of all seeds. The Simurgh's nest smelled of sandalwood. It was full of chicks, squeaking, opening their beaks to be fed. A bit like you then. The Simurgh took Zal into a bed of feathers. "Something precious will grow from the seed," she said. The chicks taught Zal to hop and chirp, and he grew strong. But when the chicks learned how to fly, Zal was left alone. "Now lessons can start," cried the Simurgh. 1,000 tiny holes appeared in her beak, and she began to speak every language in the world. The Simurgh taught Zal poetry, science, song, the names of plants, how to draw, the history of the universe. She'd seen it all. Zal learned to run, to hunt, to make a fire. "All a prince needs to know," said the Simurgh. Zal watched the Simurgh swooping, soaring, her tail dripping fire. What a mother, what a teacher. 16 years passed, and Zal became wise. "Help!" cried King Sam, sitting up in bed. "Not another nightmare?" asked the Queen. "I was tumbling through branches, twigs, seeds." 16 years of bad dreams, said Queen Aram. Sam splashed water on his face and caught his reflection in the mirror. He had aged. His hair had turned as white as snow. "Why did I send our son away?" he wept. "There has been nothing but emptiness without him." "Perhaps he's still alive," whispered the Queen. King Sam called the soldier. Do you remember where you left Prince Zal?" The soldier bowed. "How could I forget, Your Majesty?" "Fetch the horses, lead the way. I will make a memorial for our boy and pray for his forgiveness." King Sam and the soldiers rode into the mountains, past leapt tracks and wolf dens. "How could a baby survive?" said the king. He gathered stones, placing them in a circle to make a grave. When high above, he saw a young man leaping like a deer over the rocks. A radiant youth with bright white hair. Sam rubbed his eyes. The boy looked just like him. "My son," cried the king, "you are alive! Oh, can you forgive me?" called King Sam. "You are a precious gift I threw away. Now I know. With hair, black hair, no hair, all life is to be treasured." Zal bounded down the mountainside. "Father!" Sam opened his arms wide. "Prince Zal, come home!" Zal glanced at the thick forest and the towering peaks. But this is home," he said. Sam took off his crown and offered it to his son. "Look, the throne is yours." Zal shook his head. "I cannot leave my mother." Flames flickered and the Simurgh appeared. "White hair brings wisdom," she said to Sam, and then she turned to Zal. "Being human is being able to forgive." Zal held out his hands and his father clasped them tight. The years of misery were gone. "All birds must fly the nest," said the Simurgh. "It is time for you to go. But pluck some feathers from my tail. If you're in trouble, burn one, and I will come." Zal pulled sparkling feathers from the Simurgh's long tail and thanked his phoenix mother. Father and son set off for home as the Simurgh beat giant wings and soared into the sky. Queen Aram was waiting to greet them. At last, Zal met his human mother. "My jewel has returned," she said. The whole country welcomed King Zal. "I will rule well," he cried, "and the Simurgh will help." Zal took a fiery feather and placed it, like wings, around his crown. "From now on, all kings will wear feathers on their crown," he declared. "So everyone is protected by the Phoenix of Persia." The musicians played their final notes, and a hush came over the audience. The performers bowed, and cheers erupted. "Did Zal burn the feather?" whispered Shirin. "That's tomorrow's story," replied her brother. The children jumped to their feet. "Let's have walnuts before we go," said Ali, putting the last coin from his pocket. "What's this?" he said. In the palm of his hand was an ancient coin, worn and darkly silver. On it was an image of a king wearing a crown, topped with a pair of wings.